Good morning, loves. Welcome back to another vlog. I know a lot of us are creative souls in this community, and if that is you, you have potentially been wondering how to turn your creativity into a sustainable business so that you can do what you love for a living. And that is exactly where I found myself a few years ago. I have been working for myself as a full-time online creative since I was 30, so for the last 6 years. And in that time, I have built a business that supports me financially so that I can live the kind of life that I want to. I get asked exactly how I've done that, how that works, a lot. So in this vlog, I wanted to break that down and share some tips with anyone who's wanting to do the same. This vlog is sponsored by Skillshare, and I will be talking more about them later on. My personal creative journey actually started with Instagram way back in 2012 when I became very obsessed with it very quickly. I fell in love with photography, with editing, sharing little moments from my day, and then I began to build a community very naturally around that. That was the crux. So I kind of had an online blog from the beginning, and it was always around finding beauty in the everyday. I wasn't making any money at that point, but I wanted to share more of my voice. And I remember the first blog post that I wrote, it was something like, it was 29 lessons that I've learned at 29. I wrote it just before my 30th birthday. And so I extended my Instagram, which was my natural passion project, into a blog, and people started to read it. From this point, I decided that I wanted to make a business out of it. I absolutely hated working in a 9-to-5. I felt like my soul was slowly dying every day. You may be able to relate to that feeling. It was awful. And that is when I wrote my first ebooks. So I paid attention to what was doing well on my blog, what people were most interested in, and it was very much capsule wardrobe content at that point, which was something that I was naturally passionate about myself. I still am. And so I wrote my first ebook and put that up for sale, and people bought it. Is how I first started to make money, and that was my first income stream. I then went on to write 2 more ebooks. I wrote and published my first book. I started YouTube, and alongside all of this, I was doing brand sponsorship integrations as well. My brand has most definitely always been an extension of myself, of my heart, of my interest, and of my passions. And I would recommend that you do the same and follow your heart in terms of creating a sustainable creative business, because otherwise it's not going to be very enjoyable. I think it's important to trust that what you find beautiful, what you find fascinating in your own life, what you're passionate about, if you share that with the world, other people will share in that with you. And that's a really beautiful thing. Making money side of things is a natural extension of that, because you will start to see what people find value in and also what they are willing to pay for. And once you've figured that out, you can start to put things up for sale. I did actually study business management at university, but I wouldn't say that many of the things that I learned there are actually applicable to what I do now. What I do now is heavily focused on photography, writing, and videography. And I have to know the business basics as well, like marketing, keeping track of money, all that kind of stuff. That's the side of things that I'm not so great at. And this is where I've had to do a lot of online learning, and I would highly recommend that you also do this. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, whatever it is you want to be in business about, the number one thing is to make sure, or try your best to be the very best at that thing, because the cream always rises to the top. You can have the most incredible bulletproof marketing plan in place, but if what you are selling is a load of rubbish, then it doesn't really matter. The most important thing is to focus on what you want to be good at, to practice that thing, to incorporate it into your everyday and always strive to be better. This is where Skillshare comes in. I have used Skillshare for years. It is an online learning community. It is the biggest online learning community for creatives, and they literally have thousands of classes on there for all different sorts of things. I've learned photography on there, I've learned videography on there, and I've learned the marketing business skills side of things as well. Anyone looking to develop their creative skills, become an entrepreneur, become a better entrepreneur, I really can't recommend Skillshare enough. It offers something for everyone, and the first 500 people to use the link, which I will put on the screen and I will leave in the description for you, get a 1 month free trial for Skillshare. So whatever it is you want to get better at, you want to try, you've got an entire month free to get stuck in. Favorite thing about them is that their learning pathways are designed and created by creatives. So it's a space that is very much designed by creatives for creatives. I've always felt very at home on that platform and well taken care of. I found the classes to be super easy, they're very to the point, they have quick modules in them and you can speed through them very, very quickly. But also, like Marta Marie Forsberg's class, which is one of the first ones that I did, they're classes that are perennial. So you keep coming back to them again and again, and I find that depending on where you are in your journey, you can pick up new things from the same class as you go along. If you want to find out more about Skillshare or you want to take advantage of the free trial, you can click the link in the description. In terms of sustainability, something that was really important to me from the beginning was to have multiple income streams. So in terms of a creative business person, I think that there is a scale and you sit somewhere between being a very free-spirited creative and a very business boss kind of person. I'm much more at this end of the scale. I like to follow my interests. I like to do what I feel drawn to, what I feel passionate about, and I struggle more with this logical business side of things. So to have multiple income streams was very, very important to me because it allowed me to be diverse. And I think that's important. I think that you have to build a business around your ways of doing things and your natural personality. It has to be a natural extension of who you are. I've built these very slowly over the years, but my current income streams are my EBOOKS, which I sell on my blog. There's a series on there all about curating and creating your version of a simplified wardrobe, home and life based on the foolproof method that I personally use. So they're like step-by-step guides. I'll leave a link to those if you want to go and have a look. Then I have my published book, which is another income stream that's available in bookstores. It's available online through my publisher, and I get paid every 6 months revenue from that. And sponsorships depends on what's going on at the time. Sometimes I have a lot to do, sometimes I don't have that many to do, but that's another income stream. I also have a Substack now. So my Substack community, I've got thousands of subscribers on there, which I've built up very slowly over the years. And there are 2 options that you can choose on my Substack. So there is the free membership where you get some letters or some previews of letters, and then there's the full paid membership where we have online events, you get full access to the archives, and you get every letter in full every week. And that's probably where my biggest focus is right now. Finally, I also get paid for YouTube videos. So YouTube pays you for every view that you get. I get paid depending on how many views I've had in that particular month. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot in the mix. But as I said, I really like that because I can choose which area to focus on depending on where my passion is at that time. And if one particular thing isn't doing so well, that's okay because I have other fingers in the pie. I would recommend that. I would recommend to not focus all of your efforts on just one thing, to have multiple cogs at work, to find the balance of what feels right for you, because also you don't want to have so many things on the go from the beginning that you can't focus on being the best at what you do. So it's very much like a slow, steady dance in terms of building this thing. And you have to be in a relationship with it. You have to be paying attention to what's working well, where your passion is, what's not doing so well, what's moving the needle in terms of money, how much money you want to make. Are you willing to sacrifice your art to make more money? A lot of questions to consider, but it's a really beautiful experience to go through. Building a supportive network has been essential. So my biggest tip for anyone who wants to do something creative for a living, if that feels out of reach for you, you feel like it's not for people like you, is to surround yourself with people who are already doing it. Ideally, that needs to be in real life as part of a group so that you feel part of a community, because then it normalizes the thing that you want to do. And everything that your inner critic is saying, your family is saying, your friends are saying, that won't matter anymore, because you have real life examples in front of you that this is possible. These people are doing it. That means that I can do it as well. If it's not possible to create a real life community around what you want to do, so connecting with other creatives, meeting up, chatting on social media, alternative thing to do is to immerse yourself with idols. So you can find really good business podcasts to listen to. Being Boss was one of my favorite, most supportive podcasts, and I still go back and listen to the archives of that one as well. I'd highly recommend that. Diary of a CEO is also a really, really great business podcast. Immerse yourself, listen to other people's stories, allow yourself to be inspired and feel connected to other people who have already done what it is that you want to do, and let them lead the way. And connect with that, immerse yourself in that community so that you feel part of it, because we are stronger together and we most definitely rise together as well. The thing that I've had to learn how to do is to balance creativity with sustainability. And this is an ongoing process. I feel very lucky, I feel very blessed, because what I do, I can't not do. So I have no plan to retire from what I do, other than I do see my business shifting and changing in the future. My goal is to just write books eventually, and I think the YouTube stuff, the Instagram stuff will all fade away. That's my big long-term goal. But for now, I can't not make videos, I can't not write, I can't not take photographs, because it's who I am. Having said that, it can be a little bit difficult when what you love is also what you have to do for work, because then the pressure comes in, the expectations come in. And the way that I have dealt with this is by having to understand that my job is to create the conditions for creativity to exist and to thrive. That usually looks like all the things that we are told to feel guilty about in the 9-to-5 world. Things like allowing myself to do nothing, to stare out of the window, to go on a long walk, to meditate, to do yoga, to have an early night's sleep, to lay around reading books, to go and visit museums, to fill up my creative well. If I focus on creating the conditions for creativity to thrive, the rest just kind of takes care of itself. Whereas in the beginning, what I used to do was sit down at my desk and think, okay, I have to sit here for 8 hours a day like it's a regular job. And that did not work. You have to learn to exist in a very different, fluid, free-spirited kind of way, and you have to embrace that. You have to find the beauty in that, and you have to let go of all the self-doubt, all the fear and all the guilt around living that kind of life. I hope you found that useful. I hope sharing my personal journey with you, you found some inspiration, some practical points, some things to try. And I just want to finish by saying that whatever it is that you can currently see or feel in your heart, this vision that you've got, it is 100% possible. If you don't have people around you that believe in you, which I know sometimes you don't. I didn't have that. I had to learn to believe in myself, and that's been an onward journey of self-love, self-validation. But I just want you to know that I believe in you 100,000,000%. This thing that you want to do, that you want to bring to life, it is possible. And even if that thing doesn't work out, it's okay, because it will lead you to the thing that does. Don't give up on yourself, don't give up on your dreams, and don't let other people's negativity, other people's self-doubt, and projecting that onto you, ever stop you from moving forwards. Be patient, keep learning, and find your support system along the way, both externally and internally. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this vlog. I will leave a link to that 1 month free trial in the description for you, and I will see you soon.